Okay, let's see here. Like we're set there. We got sound. I do still have a bit of guess allergies or sinus congestion and stuff like that. So if I sound weird or a bit sniffly, that's why, and that's still going on. Seems to be clearing up a bit though. Each day is a little better. So around a few more of these, I think, and then it's out. Can go over there. All right, here we go. I'm jumping straight in today. I have got some PR. Oh, it's okay. There's some PRs over in the Ethernet, which is the WizNet library, that I have seen. There's a couple of them that are a little bit older. There's a couple newer ones. It's been on my list of stuff to get to at some point, and right now is going to be that point. There's also this one which caught my eye, which I think is cool, so I'm planning to take a look into this one as well. We could maybe do it with the Ethernet library, but we could also go with something that has Wi-Fi, I believe. I'm going to look at the actual driver ones before the server stuff. So these are the ones that are open. The camera is in... Is there a camera window open? Is this still live? Hello? Hello? Yep, looks like it. Okay. See here. So that's like... Let me actually do a few more of these. We're going to put this over here. Hate that. Does that actually as well? There we go. We could probably actually just get rid of this one. This was all stuff from yesterday. I'm just trying to cut down my browser windows a bit so that I can easily change back and forth, like between the camera and the browser that I'm working in. So I have got the Ethernet Featherwing hooked up here. I don't remember how exactly. I've set it up a few different ways, a few different times. I've got it plugged into like a secondary router that's not the main one directly right now, but we'll swap it over if we need to try the other one. So I did actually try this one at one point before, but it has some new changes. This one is the oldest one. I think I am going to start with some of the others because I think the others may be smaller in nature, if I recall correctly. Updated to latest version. Yeah, I haven't taken a look at it since this. I did try it out at one point, but not since the latest changes. And if we are still having some weirdness in this one, I'm going to also try to get some diagnostics logs for this person to see if they can't understand a bit better like what's going on in my network, because my network seems to be weird and unusual compared to some of the other networks in the world, it turns out, with regards to these little microcontrollers connecting and such. So I'm actually going to kind of go, I think it's even maybe reverse chronological. Usually I would probably go the other way around, like go oldest first, but I think some of these might be a bit simpler. These ones are a bit interesting. I have seen annotations used before, generally speaking, but not really CircuitPython, I guess, outside of like property and setter, I guess, right? whether the object has been closed. We have a property socket closed, and this is I've never also seen an annotation defined. It looks pretty straightforward, which is kind of how Python is sometimes. Like you just declare a function, and then this has wrapper. It's gonna have function passed in. It's defining wrapper, which is gonna check on this and then raise that in some cases. Otherwise, if that didn't get raised, it's gonna actually return calling function, whatever function was passed here, with the arguments, and then this returns wrapper. So then basically you can put it on any other function. Okay. That's like I think it's called middleware. Inside Django, there's a component where you can kind of create checks for every one of the different functions like this. Whoa. Wish that would like setting in. I never want to like pop its window out like that. I always am trying to change the size. I wonder if I could set up hotkeys for the size. I know. Oh no, that doesn't actually work. Oh, is it Alt? Oh yeah. Let's see. I remember. Put debug true. But that spams a lot of stuff, it turns out. Whoops. Still on true. So I didn't actually save this. And so I may need to also just like reset, unplug, replug. So like in the past testing I've done on Ethernet, even when it is working successfully for me, I do sometimes still have to like reset the device. Let's try with the reset button. Maybe we should put time.sleep before it starts, because I don't really see anything happen for a while. Got that one. Failed to configure the server. Actually, save it again. Maybe should we update to newer as well? Probably. Yeah, I forget which color is which. On Ethernet. Ours is opposite of this. Is it like always green is the same and yellow is the same? I mean, probably not always, but fix it. Just which color is which. Transmit is yellow. I have only solid green. Weird, we have no blinking and no yellow or orange or whatever the other one is. Okay. Let me try to go see if we can unplug it, plug it into a different spot or what. Just let's start here, I guess. Either of the things that I can plug it into actually have lights on the other side. Anything different? Oh, okay. We did not have any kind of blink action on yellow before, so that's probably a good sign. There's time sleep now. That. See if we can have anything other than HTTP. To get that one. try a different device too. If we don't have any luck. I mean, like I said, I've had lots of off and on issues with being able to use Ethernet as well. We've definitely had this error come up a bunch. I remember various like resetting, trying different versions of stuff. Possibly we were on a different device. You know, I must have been probably using Feather TFT for a lot of my testing, because one of the things I remember actually is having to change the way the SPI is accessed. I was always having an error on this, and I kept having to change it to board.spy because the display already had the SPI bus. So possibly I had this issue on this device before as well. Auto reload, I wonder why that was from. I didn't actually change the code at that point. It does kind of feel like this one is not going to connect though. There was an easy way I could actually see the lights. Here. Yeah, I guess we should try swapping it out. It's the other one I have that has, it's close by. Probably plug this. Can't think of any reason why the RP2040 would not work. I guess right now I'm on the modified version of the library, so the other thing we should probably do is test the current one. Let's say like 100. There's a space there, so it did an auto link, I think. This is already stored inside of here, I think. So just overwrite code. So this one fails, which this I definitely remember happening. Because I was tempted to PR, still probably should, PR the examples to be, maybe have both, I guess, with a comment, the same way they have the other pins, but anything with anything where CircuitPython itself initializes the SPI bus, the most typical reason is because there's a built-in display, but could be other reasons too. will not be able to access it the other way, but can this way. Logger has the time sleep. Okay, yeah, this one was able to succeed. I don't know. Feather RP2040 doesn't like it for some reason. Feels like on my network. And we'll seed again. It's okay. So we would be on unknown. I don't even know what version would be here. Y crossed, so it's probably a released version, but I don't actually know. It's the modified one from this. Accessed after close. Should we try to test for the actual fix? So we're calling close on the request. Where does that call into? I mean, ultimately, I assume it's going to be going back to the socket. Close. Self closes the socket. Common socket type. That socket type close. In the remaining ESP socket buffers. I don't know exactly how you would test for this. I guess is you would try to read again after you call close. I don't really know. Don't really know how you read directly from it though. All of the examples use requests, which is the next level up. So I could receive. Yeah, I don't really know the right way to write the code to have that actually read something successfully, because I assume what we would want to be doing is after it's closed, try to read from it again, but I don't think requests will do that on our behalf, so we'd have to know a bit more how to do that. I can test this version though, at least, and make sure it's still working. Modified here, so we'll copy this. Save my Firefox. Did. Seems fine. This is the one that has all those close files that actually in. peer name. Send. We could do receive. So we could maybe try one of these. Like, if I could get the socket, I could call family or type or something. Okay, socket is here. That socket. Let's like have a socket. Socket. 160. This with sockets. I'll just take socket num. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know, because there's like, we would need to get. Well, I mean, we passed in socket here, but that's not. That's like we just imported it from this. We haven't like. Does that matter? Your name? Socket. Oh, it's a prop. Doesn't seem to think it's that either. Yeah. That's not it. So that's like the class, not an instance of it? Is that our problem? Net has no. So we have get socket. Turns an int. I don't know what to do with that though. Because that's going to be an int, not a socket object, so that's also not going to have type to be able to test our new stuff. I don't really get how this, I don't really get where this object goes, I guess. It's on. Set socket. Makes a socket pool module type. Oh, is that, am I supposed to do it this way? Session? I don't know how to do that. It doesn't really say. What's it? Cell context. Okay, dot set interface goes to iFace. I don't know though. I don't know how to just use like get the socket object to be able to call, you know, any of these functions, like call this function for instance to test to see if this thing properly guards against it being closed. I can't really do that test. These ones on this object ETH, it seems like it's always referring to the sockets as a number, and it's can like send commands to them, open them, and do all kinds of stuff. But this is always just having a number. It's never this kind of like socket object that got actually changed here, as far as I can tell. It's basically like all of this kind of stuff. Pretty much everything that touches the socket, it's always just taking the number. But then here you go initialize ETH and then set socket with socket, which is what we imported from there. This is the code that did change. So we're passing that as well as this. And from then on, we don't ever touch it directly. Oh, I mean, this stuff is, I guess, ethernet.chip MAC address, pretty IP. But from then on, we only ever just use requests. We don't ever do socket anything or eth anything. Yeah, I don't really know how that works internally. Even looking at it here, I don't really get how it works, where we would find that actual socket object. Sock was on to session, maybe. Set iFace. Go just testing. And functionality wise, it does seem fine to me. Let's go into JDev. Understand the use for fake requests. I don't either. I mean, I think it's worth noting though, I don't think anything in here is fake requests. Like that fake SSL socket thing that we saw somewhere is a different thing, I think, than fake requests. I don't know if it's correct or not, but I think that fake requests might be about caching the result. Like on a PyPortal, you might cache the result from an API request and then reference your cached result until it's like X amount of hours old or minutes old or days old or whatever scale makes sense for your data. But I don't know if that's actually true or if I somehow just got that in my head wrong. The fake SSL context thing I do think is a different thing though. It's like all of these examples, I mean, like even the post and all of these really use requests, right? None of them are, it might be nice to have an even simpler simple test, maybe like, right now the simple test is very high level functional, but not very like simple, truthfully. It's like simple in that it doesn't have a lot of code, but it's not that simple in that it's actually built on top of a few of these libraries, which are really doing all the work for you. Here, this, okay, yeah. Explain why we can't find it is because this is the wrong window. Even this, I think, is using requests. Cheerlights is using requests. CPython is not using requests, it's using socket. Okay, this does seem a bit simpler. So this one does create a socket. So maybe if we tried calling, is send one of our guarded functions? We could try calling send in this one. It is, okay, so we can test this one. So we want simple server on our device. CP true. We will have to fix, well, we will have to fix this again. Server on the device. Fake sockets. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. My understanding of fake requests is no, it's not just for testing. It's for kind of like caching the results so that you have access to the same data without actually hitting the internet again. But again, I don't know if that's accurate. So that's my understanding of it though. And in that understanding, it's not just for testing. It's for like caching. Simple request. It has its places sometimes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Simple tests definitely range from... I mean, certain libraries are, I think, easier or harder to encompass, we'll say as well. Like some libraries, it makes more sense that the simple test is the one-liner that is built on top of everything, even though like really what it's doing is actually pretty complex. It just turns it into a simple line for you. Whereas other like drivers or low-level communications libraries like this, the simple test, there is benefit in having it be not built on top of all that stuff. It's not necessarily the way that you're likely to use it, but it is a less complex way to use it if you're trying to actually test those isolated components inside of that communications library, utility, whatever it is. Internet socket stuff in this case. We will need, no, it'll get its own IP, and then I'll need to know the IP so that I can connect from the computer. I think that's how this works. No. We'll restart. Oh, this one's even older, so maybe we'll take restarting as an opportunity also to update this. But yeah, the PyPortal ones can be good depending on what you're doing. But it can also be good to do some of it yourself, depending on what you're doing and how much you want to customize it. And how much experience you have with Python itself. I would say if you're like brand new to Python, the portal base type libraries are probably easier to understand than trying to do it manually with requests. But you have a little bit of Python, even if it's not CircuitPython, using requests will probably be relatively straightforward and will give you so much extra flexibility. So we have the same thing. I think I do need to like reset maybe. So I definitely do recall there was a state where I needed to like reset in order to get stuff to work. And we did reset through installing CircuitPython, but I think I did have to do like harder reset than that. Unplug, replug, if my memory serves, which I tend to do with a button that's on my hub. There we go. So we're on 208. That's our port number. So we should be able to go now back into this one. Get this CPython client for server. This is one. We want to change it? Let's leave this alone maybe. Let's copy paste it to... But this is going to be using the library or no? No, just socket, which is a built-in thing to CPython. So we're going to copy this and to take it to my device workspace, which is the folder that's on my PC. Already had one. That's all right. 208. No, that's wrong. 1.208. That sounds better. It is 50,007. So this is gonna open and send some stuff and then receive some stuff and then close. It works. Timed out. Turn off Wi-Fi. Don't know if that's gonna interrupt the stream. API examples made for requests of more of what I was expecting. Yeah, I think people just have different expectations, though, because I think some people expect or want the opposite too, though, because I think sometimes they don't. They want to do the same thing it's doing. Yeah, I think the range is it's can be less intimidating for an absolute beginner who has no programming at all. And then it kind of becomes more intimidating is when you learn a little bit more about programming because you kind of see how much it's doing for you. The absolute beginner who's brand new, who doesn't necessarily recognize or understand how much it's doing for them, I think it's actually less intimidating in a way because it's kind of like, get this thing, put it on the screen. I don't care how that works. I just want to tell you the thing and see it happen. Excuse me. I don't think I'm gonna, yeah, we're gonna try this. I don't know if that's like, yeah, okay. I think when my computer is on Wi-Fi, you know, it's like trying to send data out through Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet, maybe, or it's like not able to see it because it's on the other, I don't know, but I disabled Wi-Fi and now it works. That's sending back and forth. I can not Control C, but probably use this, which raises a keyboard interrupt, which is what Control C does. So that's kind of interesting. This has just been closing the connection and then listening again afterwards each time. And so to verify the new version, what we can do is try to do something after it's been closed. So let's go to the device side, CircuitPy here. And then after we that's interesting. We don't actually we say connection closed, but we don't, like, there's no code here that does that. How do we know the connection? Because with, interesting. And we saw that in between? Yes. Okay. So here we should try going like con.send. Can't see this. Bytes. How do we convert string to bytes? You'd think I would have this memorized by now. It's called bytes. Pass the string and then the UTF-8. Bytes. 8, 7, 9. There we go. I will connect and listen, and so now it's going to try to send after it gets closed. Should fail. Oh, we're not even getting connected though. So was it not the Wi-Fi last time? Wi-Fi's already off this time. Weird. Connected anymore. Oh, that time we did. Okay. There's our error. Go back to main. What is it actually? I'm kind of curious. What does it do? Doesn't raise an error in the current one, I guess, but I wonder, does it actually send it? Will it show up on the other side? I have no update. Already. Let me. There we go. Okay. Oops. I think I want to delete. Yeah, so it doesn't raise any kind of error, but it also does not come through to the other side. I don't see that message that we sent anywhere over there. So new version raises the exception. Old version does not. Which is good, because after you close it, you should not send more stuff through it. These are called simple server, I think. And then I'll try to keep going, and then if we get more of them tested and merged, then we'll make one release at the end. Or do we want to make releases for each one? Maybe it's probably actually better to just go ahead and make the releases for each one. Yeah, I talked myself back around to this way, so let's make a release for that one. Just so there's like individual, like if anything does happen to go wrong with one change or the other, this will be nice to have like a version that's isolated other than like, you know, these 5 things changed or whatever. So the close behavior, I think we call that, I mean, is that API breaking or not? I mean, it raises an exception now in a case where it didn't used to. So like, that's not an unreasonable definition of API breaking. It should have been raising an exception before, though, so really what we're doing is testing for an error case better. Does that constitute an API breaking change? I'm going to say that the API is kind of the intended use, and that it probably was always intended that after you close it, you can't send more stuff. And since the intended portion of the API did not change in any kind of backwards compatible way, you don't have to modify your code unless you were already doing something that was not intended. I think I'm not going to do major version, but I don't know. I struggle sometimes with whether it's appropriate or not all the way. I think middle version at least does make sense because it is different behavior. I kind of see middle version as different behavior that's not breaking. Last version as like not different behavior. You know, maybe an example is updated or type annotations or documentation or something that doesn't affect behavior. Oh. I didn't merge it before I made the release. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. Out of sockets problem. Yep. Not sure which one of these I have. I guess I would assume this. I have Ethernet Featherwing. Hey, that's kind of cool. RTC. I think it's 5100 probably because I'm sure one of the cats just got hissed and chased away. No, that actually says 55. Okay. Nice. So 5100 then I guess was the newer one. I thought one of them was added more recently. They all have the same Featherwing WizNet boards, only diff is max. Oh, okay. WizNet boards. Creates a socket-socket instance using with. sockets is created using X, then you have to call, okay, I mean X.close probably. Interesting. It sounds like, so I mean, I'll say like a lot of this is pretty much way over my head, but from what I'm understanding from this bit, it sounds like the chip itself maybe supports separate, I guess, interfaces for DHCP or DNS, which we're not utilizing. Instead, we're just in the microcontroller creating our own DHCP packets or whatever and sending them through the socket. We can kind of offload maybe some of the complexity of that stuff to the actual driver chip instead of the main thing. So it only merged. I don't know if that's from before or after the merge we just did before. A slight different behavior there. Bug. This is fix out of sockets Biffo Bear. State main. And this is in socket, so that is probably the, yeah. I guess we'll probably have this for more of the PRs as well, I suppose, right? Because anything that touched pretty much anything inside the socket file is going to do this. It's not going to be able to automatically figure it out, probably. Skip one, it got like a hitch in it there. Guessing that we take both. It kind of feels better to leave those two next to each other and then I guess put that one there, or should we put that one after, I guess, right? Because like technically that's doing the closing one or both of those. Run pre-commit probably. Frost? Okay. See if that passes up there. Should fail because it can't find it. Pick this one. There. Oops. Like restarted kind of around the time that I clicked run here. Oh, and it got to out of sockets. Okay. Let's come to unplug, replug. So I'll let this go a few times. Our max was 8 sockets, so I'll try to let this loop at least 8 times. We're on 3 right now, that's 4. We'll let this loop, I'll let it go to the 9th one, and then I'll switch over and try the requests samples as well. That one's 5, I believe. 6. 7. 8. And 9 proves that we're not like consuming and never releasing our sockets or anything, otherwise we wouldn't be able to make it to 9. All right, we can Control C that. We did actually see the error raised once. So maybe when I get that DHCP error, maybe that is actually, well, but then we saw the DHCP error after, so no. I was gonna say maybe that's actually me running out of sockets. How it tells you when it's closed, yeah. Good here. I mean, should we do one of these in a loop? Does that make any sense? Oh, excuse me. Similarly prove that we are not consuming and never freeing our sockets. Hopefully 3 seconds is slow enough. Seven, 8. Next one should be 9, I think. Then I think we still do the Bitcoin one or whatever's afterwards. Yeah, there we go. What would be a good... Is there like a time server? Is there like anything other than Bitcoin price? Time API? This might be a better option than Bitcoin. Who owns this? Hmm. Like a license or anything like that, really. I can see. This is probably a good thing for sure. Probably we should have had that before, I would assume. So that could lead to like stuff not getting released before it's garbage collected, maybe? Yeah, and then I moved that to the bottom technically. Sorry, folks. I didn't say that I merged, but I did also merge. Hey. What yours Lewis, buddy. Hey, 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 hey. Look. For 99 on this one. That would be keep track of allocated sockets. That's the name of the actual PR. Fix out of sockets problem. Buddy. Guys. Cannot fit your entire. These things are actually yours either. Decreased socket exit from 1000. I will say 1000 seconds seems like an awfully long time. Does feel a bit excessive. Another coffee? think I might be going to make another coffee. I do not recall this at all. Just made another cup. Yeah, I'm thinking it's about time. And honestly, it works out kind of well because I'm also getting to be a bit on the chilly side, so I can make a hot coffee, and that will help on that front. Okay, so the other one, the exiting, maybe is what we got fixed with the other one? What was the issue that was linked to the first one I looked at today? Out of sockets, closed. Does this say 90? No, that says 100. Okay, that's so potentially we still have 89 in the mix. Why these changed? I think if they have the underscore, they take less space. Not 100% sure about that, but I kind of remember something about that from when I did the MPY file size. I think I was able to measure the results sometimes by adding or removing those leading underscores. It's an error. This is another one where the actual like particulars are definitely over my head, but I'm happy to grab it and try it out. Did it end up needing merge too, or no? Nope. Did I not touch anything in socket? It did, but somehow it doesn't. Somehow I was able to figure it out. Nice. Okay. Kirby. Allocate socket. Was that on the 8th one? It was actually. No. It was so all 9 of those worked, but then the Bitcoin one failed. Or on that, so we need to replug. Down to 54. Yeah, what is it? It's actually pretty warm outside. It was a little while ago. What's the actual temperature like outside? It is 60-ish outside right now here. Supposed to rain tonight though, get a bit colder, going all the way down to 40 overnight tonight here. Oof. Okay, I do have the kettle on, so I'll be going to make my coffee here in a minute, once it's actually heated. Okay, this one did make it through a test after we rebooted. I don't know the way. I don't know how to actually like exercise it. Basically, I don't know how to get into this branch of the logic where we'd be waiting on this timeout. I guess it's like it got disconnected, but it failed to disconnect properly. Seems like, and then it's gonna wait for 1,000 seconds trying to successfully close. And then let's move on, I guess. Figure if it can't successfully close, it's probably already closed. Or alright, that was the kettle beep, so I'm gonna go make a coffee. I'll be back in a minute or two. Okay, now we're back. We got some warm coffee. Thank you. Ooh, okay. What are we on here? Yeah. I think I was already on this version. We ran it right, and I would try to like check if the timeout is really much longer before. I probably wouldn't wait a full 1,000 seconds, but I would wait at least 20 seconds and then see that it's still going. I'm not entirely sure how we could like get to that branch of the logic, essentially, right? We need to force it to fail to disconnect, and I'm not sure how to influence that. I think this one we stick to just happy path. I believe we did already test, but I have another one running now. And then looking at the code, and the code seems okay to me. I will say again, like some of the particulars are a bit over my head. It looks like it's using different ones of these kind of command things here, right? Like it used to just say disconnect like this, but now it says disconnect here. We have socket number. We have these mask thing going on here, which didn't used to be happening. Closed. Check the status, compare it to closed. Set the interrupt register. That bit does succeed. I will do the server client because I'm pretty sure the last time we had server client running was on the prior PR. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm not keeping track super closely, but I feel like we had it on here and then we switched to HTTP and then we switched to the new PR. Simple server here. Then we probably will fail. Succeed. Figured we would get the DHCP. Guess. Because it's like I thought it was tied to changing the code, but. This one's 9. kind of the same, like functionality has changed, but really like happy path or anything that expect to see under normal circumstances, really. One. State machine one. So I will give this one a try. I did have trouble with it before, and I do still need to figure out a little bit better how to use Wireshark. I have installed now, so I'm closer. If it is still, oops, this has just been running the whole time. If it is still not working the same as it was last time, then I will move on to the next thing for now. So I gotta figure out how to get the relevant portion of the log inside Wireshark still. Doesn't really matter, but we may as well begin again. Well, maybe it'll matter, I guess. Are there merge conf? Are actually, yeah. Okay. Hopefully there's not too many differences. That was one of the new things I saw go by. We don't need debug twice, though. I guess we could have put it down. Let's take this one and remove that one. How come we don't have timeout for that? I wonder. The timeout has been removed all the way? Or away? Okay. Brent has already looked for it, which is good. power. Gonna skip that one for now. Might not know the result. See if we run into issues that are standing. See the difference? All three of those look the same to me. Oh, okay. Never mind. I think we end up with no underscores. Yeah. Oh, if I just typed randomly. Interesting difference. So I think that Magic Wand might actually do what we want. I think what we want here is the left side, but this would basically not need an underscore anymore. That's what we have in main. Nice. I don't know how it gets those right so often, but Magic Wand is actually pretty good about. Oh. Offset versus offset. Uh-oh. We have two of these. Spoke too soon, I guess. Shouldn't have been praising the magic wand. A duplicate there. Pretty good still, though. We just have the one. Have the one section, which is actually like kind of gnarly. Really gnarly, honestly. Less than 60. Oh boy, yeah. I don't. I mean, I'm feeling like we want mostly all of main. Bucket number. There might be some of the leading underscores. I don't know how you can look at so many diffs and make any sense of it. I can barely handle two. That's usually my own code. I mean, the way that this presents it is like very, very helpful. Yeah. I will chalk up like almost the entirety of my ability to look at it and make any sense out of it up to the way that it puts the three of them together like this. And like if you watch the scrolling, like they stay in sync perfectly. So like you look at a line in one, you're like always, you know, you're looking at that same place or whatever. Now, in a case like this, obviously a lot of code has been removed. So you get that like, you know, it kind of like catches up in the middle there while you're scrolling. But the highlighting is also pretty good. But yeah, without this like easy mode tricycle training wheels visual wizard like interface thing here, I am basically like a fish out of water or something. I do think it looks like we're basically just taking main, I guess. One thing that was throwing me off was at the bottom we had this was next socket reserved, blah blah blah, whatever, but this is actually inside a method which doesn't exist in the other ones. So that kind of makes sense. This return socket number here, that is actually pretty much like this return sock here, I think. And then we didn't used to have all of the logic for managing the number of sockets. Now we do, therefore it's going to raise that exception, which is an extra thing. So I am thinking this kind of looks like we take main, we throw back this one, new DHCP. We're maybe duplicated here on our debug messages. And I guess we'll stick with the one from main, because it has the 3 stars. I don't know that it matters one way or another. And then we get our... Yeah, we want to do that too. I'm surprised that wasn't included. Kind of weird. And YouTube is like aggressive on the "Are you still here today?" Like the third or fourth time I've clicked over. Okay, I wasn't watching, and unfortunately there is. Oh, okay. That right there, that's what I was looking for. Perfect timing. I was not watching to see if that thing came up. I think it hides itself. Maybe it doesn't, though. Or maybe it doesn't because I put my mouse on it or something. I don't know. What's that? I should have probably run pre-commit also before I finished, but I'm gonna let this finish doing these before I start testing it, because if it's failing pre-commit, we're gonna want to fix it before we do much of anything else. So while that is going, I'll look at this. Added options for wildcard URLs in HTTP server route. So now it's possible you can do something /param and then get those passed to you as arguments. Yeah, definitely similar to Django. I have a lot more experience with that than Flask. Okay. So I think this is like an alternative implementation. Like that PR was one attempt at this, and this PR is a different attempt. This one has been left open and the other one's been closed. So I assume that's like, this is the one we want to go with. It did fail. I should have ran pre-commit before I pushed. Island failed. Probably. Thanks, Pilot. What is this? Tests? Yeah. Okay. This, put it on our device. Do not already have it. Ran out of space. Delete, not really, because I don't know what it is. I'm going to delete this one, which I do know what it is. Actually, I don't. I think it's the previous PR, but I'm not even sure. Maybe I changed it to the new PR. Either way, I'm going to delete it for space for now. We'll put it back when we go to test that other PR. Which one of these changed for... NeoPixel? And URL parameters. Device? This does. Oh, get device. Oh, doesn't actually do anything. Okay. We'll stick with the NeoPixel. So change NeoPixel color /R/G/B. So it's adding a new one. Basically, it's showing two different ways, right? This way would be question mark arguments, I'm pretty sure. So like question mark R equals whatever, G equals whatever, B equals whatever. This one doesn't use the question mark, and instead it also doesn't have like R equals, it just has the value inside of the path of the URL. So it's just a different way to do it. So there's actually two, and you can use the old way or the new way. BRB. Sure, I copy pasted it. Oh. What are these like today? Why are these? It's import secrets. And it says secrets dot. I think we need to update this. I mean, it could use os.getEnv for one thing, which is the newer way to do it altogether. But this way is definitely a weird way because usually secrets would be a dictionary. It would say probably from secrets import secrets, not just import secrets by itself. And then you would get a dictionary and you would need square brackets here, not properties. I don't recall ever seeing any other thing that works quite like this, where it's expecting like actually named fields or properties or whatever those would be. Maybe it's around and I just missed it. All right, there we go. Supposedly we are connected. 102, and we're on port 80. I assume we're going to be changing the NeoPixel that's just on the device. Yeah, it looks like it. So let's go to the old way first. And I guess our values are what? Looks like int. Probably 0 to 255, I'm guessing. .255. Red is on, and indeed, red is now on. Green. Blue. So now the new way is not having the question mark and not having the red equals and all that, but instead it's like this. So it would be weird. I guess we would need them all. Maybe? Yeah, we need them all. That is one difference. With the old way, you can set one only if you want, not include the others. Whereas this way, you can no longer do that. Cool. What are the other examples? Maybe we'll test a few more of those. Like, oh, I like this with the weird thing here. Controller temperature. Sure, the rest of these have anything weird going on in the secrets. This one is /CPU information. We don't want the trailing slash. Yeah, we don't want the trailing slash. Frequency, voltage, temperature. 40.28. This one's kind of warm, actually. Assume that's Celsius? I don't know. That's warm. I don't know what MDNS is. index file. We don't actually have an index file though. I don't think. On the device we do, I guess, but. This also. Probably should submit a PR for that. I think we probably should jump all the way up to the EMV stuff, the newer way to do it. I don't think it's worth holding up this other PR though, right? Because it's not, was unrelated to that entirely. Even though I am having to change it in order to test in my environment, I think like there must be a way, there must be a guide or something somewhere that shows a different way, an older way to set up secrets, I'm guessing. This was just slash, but it's going to be looking for index HTML, which doesn't exist, so I guess we could see what happens. Doesn't really seem to do anything. Go into EMV, yeah. Yeah, toml, yeah, settings.toml is what I mean. I just forget the exact thing it's called sometimes. We skipped, or we had .env for a minute there, but we changed over. But I still kind of think of it the same way, even though it's different syntax. There we go. Actually working. But yeah, it is, toml is what we landed on, yeah. MV stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking this is good. Is there, what's the last URL parameter? It's basically like you give it a device and a action. It's like a test thing here. Oops. Route. This one this one doesn't even do anything. But within Moo. That's weird. Doesn't allow you to open it in there. Hopefully they could change it eventually. I think probably it'd be best people could do it all under one program. I'm pretty sure, if I'm understanding right, this one, like, we can call it, but we can't, like, tell that it worked, really. It's going to return a response to us. Like, we can give it these things, and theoretically, those are available inside of here as these, but they're not actually used, so unless we added a print or something, we wouldn't actually see the effects of that. This one, though, we can go /device. Boy, it's odd that it's two routes on the same function, huh? That does seem odd. Emergency power off. Doesn't even have action. I wonder if that's left over. So this one will send us back what we told it, basically. Action check status performed on device with ID. Work. Yeah, I think all of them are fake. I mean, like, it does say emergency power off, but I think that's fake. It's not actually going to do a reset or do anything. Honestly, I don't think any of them are. Even these, like, device turn on, device turn off, this is just get device, which is just create an object that has functions that aren't implemented. So I think the whole thing is meant to be mocked up as far as the actual turning off and turning on. I think this one is maybe not meant to be there, though. This is now merged and passing. I'm gonna try this out and probably be heading out after that. See if we're successful or not. End up giving up if it's not looking like we're gonna have success very quick. Then my next step on this one, if we don't get success, will be Wireshark, getting figured out how to use it to capture the most helpful portions of the log. CK in use. Fair. I need to reset with the old unplug replug, or we might be coming up against the same thing as before. I don't remember what was the actual failure mode. It tells me if I don't even know what a PR review is, I probably should not be here. I mean, if you find it interesting or enjoyable to watch, then I'd say more power to you. Stick around and watch. If you're interested in knowing more about what a PR review is, I can definitely help fill in some of that for you. I mean, I say at a high level, basically it's just reviewing, looking over code that somebody wants to contribute to an open source project. It's pretty much the kind of ELI 5 version, looking over somebody's proposal. But I mean, to be honest with you, like I watch all kinds of streams where I don't have any clue what the people are doing on there. I find that kind of interesting, honestly. Like I watch stuff that I do understand as well, but I find something pretty compelling about watching somebody do something and I have no idea what they're doing. Sometimes. We do seem kind of more hard stuck here on this one. This could be that 1000 timeout, but we merge mains, so theoretically we would have already taken that 1000 timeout thing and had it removed, so we should not have that issue, I don't think. Yeah, PR equals pull request, yep. Which I don't think I have the chat on the screen, do I? If you're interested, that was to our friend over here in the Twitch chat. If you're interested, Dokefish, there's a couple more folks in the Adafruit Discord. But you can also just hang out on Twitch too, if that's your jam. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like we're pretty much stuck here. I'll try an unplug replug, but it's not looking like it's gonna go too much past this, really. I mean, we could do, I guess, debug true, I suppose. This will make it spam some more stuff, but look like we're actually making it to in the request or whatever. Oh, there's some could be feed Wisnet. I think this stuff is new, actually. I think this is from those debug message. I imagine this will probably help in troubleshooting whatever is going wrong, but it does seem like something is going wrong. associate most of my PRs with probably right. Hearing terminology used in context eventually sinks in, yeah. Passionately wrong. All right, we're gonna try an unplug replug. And replug. Let's see what we get here. IP, local IP. Oh, I think maybe we were successful, actually. We got farther, at least. Now the problem is there's so many other things printing. An IP here. So it may be that I'm having the same thing that I mentioned back on here, which is every other... This thing we're not having anymore, but the other thing I mentioned was unable to get multiple DHCP in a row, which feels like what we've got. I'm not seeing DHCP failure, which is weird. Like, we're just kind of stuck here for until I press Control C. I guess maybe haven't been patient enough. I don't know how long we would want to wait. As far as I understood it, though, all the PRs, like the one that was changing the timeout, that was a timeout in the disconnect, though, right? So I would have thought 19 seconds was what was mentioned on that other one. This does still have the, okay, yeah, no, this is, I guess, older at least. It's got all of this stuff. Response after 3 retries. Oh, okay, we did get it. Apparently I just didn't wait long enough. But then from a cold boot, we can succeed the first time. So unplug, replug, and we'll be able to succeed the first time. Yep. So at least in my case, this PR as of now is worse than it is better, because it makes it so that I can only successfully get an IP and fetch stuff from the internet from a cold boot. Anytime after that, I'm not really able to get an IP and make a request, it seems like, although it looks like I'm not going to succeed the request either, truthfully. Nice. Glad to hear that. Does feel like we're stuck here now, though. I wonder. So we get connected with an IP the first time, but it is actually feeling like we're not really still completing the request, though, right? Seems like we get our IP and then just hang out here. I don't know how long it would take to time out, I guess. but then this is still further than we get each subsequent time. Because we don't get any of these three if I Control-C, Control-D to make it go again. Okay. Alright, so I will have to figure out how to use Wireshark to collect some relevant logs and then come back to this and post not only my debug true here, I'll put that back to true and grab a log that gets printed, and I'll also try to grab the relevant stuff out of Wireshark, share it back, and hopefully Biffo Bear will know what to make of that information. Eventually know what changes, if any, will make sense based on that, or it may honestly just be the case that my network is like broken in some way that's really not supposed to work, and the way that it works today, while still a little bit wonky, is better than it is on this version, but maybe that's like exploiting something that's not actually really supposed to work the way it does. Maybe my network is actually not set up right, and there's actually a bug causing it to work better, even though it is a bug. So this is like fixing the bug, which is overall good, but breaking it in my case. That's like 100% all a guess on my part. Like, honestly, the changes that are in play here are over my head as well. I think I said that on a few of the other PRs I looked at. This one definitely even more so than some of the other ones, because this was a bigger change. And it was really kind of moving around the core logic inside of the module. But that will be next steps on this one. We made it through 3 of them, and I will not bore you all with me poring over Wireshark to figure out how to use it. Also, I don't really want to leak potentially everything on my network, so I figured that will be a good thing to do off stream, at least until I know how to use it and know what appears where and all of that kind of stuff, because we don't want anything too crazy to be showing up. Mountain time means a lot. Intersects with the workday. That's true, yeah. I do tend to, Mondays for at least for sure, I do tend to stream during the day. And then Friday it's like in the evening, but not too late. Mountain time, still probably during the day for you a bit, I think. So, alrighty. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I do appreciate everyone who is watching along. Hope everybody has a good rest of your day and all of that stuff. I will see you all next time. I'll definitely be back on Friday for Deep Dive. I may pop in before then if you want notifications. As always, you can follow me over on Twitch, and make sure you try to enable the notifications and all that kind of stuff, because there's settings and things. It doesn't always notify you, but that's the best I can do. I will see you later. Thanks.